All right, here we go. So, all right, guys. So, what does this line of code do?
That line of code.
In general terms.
Checks if the event is X button.
That is incorrect. That would be this line. I'm talking about this line. You're totally right what this line does. I want to know what that line does.
Did you remove the notes? Like, do we have the comments on our thing?
I don't know. Did you write comments?
I wrote all the comments you did.
Okay, well, maybe you should write your own comments. Because I don't need comments. I know what almost every line does.
Oh.
The ones with arctangent, I'm not 100% sure on. Michael.
Is it where like it's like while anything is happening in that thing, then do this?
You're getting closer. Anyone else have an idea? For event in pygame.event.get. Zach.
It almost feels like if it's like for any event, this event, like I can't
Soren.
I think I know.
Every event that happens in the game, check to see if this thing happens.
Incorrect.
What it's question again? Because I want to try to get it.
What does this line of code do? For event in pygame.event.get.
Wait, no.
Oh, hang on. Lauren wants a turn. If you want me to ask Adam.
Check if the event is in the X button.
No. Adam.
Okay.
It says it right there.
It goes to a class to get an object's property. Say if the object's property is quit. Like when you hit the button, the object's property turns to quit. And if it is quit.
That is this line of code. I'm talking about this line. So what this line of code is doing is that it is going through all of the inputs into the game, right? And then for the event, this event, pygame.event.get is basically a pipeline of inputs. Whether it's from the mouse, whether it's from the keyboard, whether it's clicking the X button, that's what this is. So what this line is doing is going through the event of every single input into the game. So this is where we're going to add our inputs to move our character. Robert.
That's what I was going to
Yep.
We'll use that to do like the keys.
Yep. So now this next part is important. If event.type equal pygame.key down all capitalized. What do you think that line of code is doing? I'll give you guys a moment to think about it. Michael.
So if one of the events that are going into the pygame is the down key.
Yep, if a key is being pushed down, correct. Then we gotta go if that event dot key equal capital K. Capital K stands for keyboard. Underscore W. Underscore W means if the W key is pushed down. Then which one of our indexes stands for in keys? Which one is W?
0.
0. So keys 0. What should that equal? True. Yep. So what this is doing is if the W key is being pushed down, we are going to make the index key index 0 true. What happens if key index 0 is true?
Their position is
Up, it moves up.
But I thought keys index 0 was false.
It is. We change it to true. And then if it's true, right? This is why we skipped a step. We skipped this part. There you go, Jack. Then we're going to move up 5 pixels a cycle. Robert.
Why do you use 2 equal signs instead of just 1?
Because it's a Boolean, we're evaluating if it's equal to it.
But under that, key 0 equals to true.
Oh, because I meant.
Oh.
That was my bad. Thank you.
Code this for us.
Well,
No.
the next thing, right? We're going to do the same thing. Instead of copying, we're going to copy those 2 lines there. and we're gonna paste it 3 more times. What do you think we need to change? There's three things we need to change.
The W, the 0,
The W, okay, the W should change to what?
the like
A, S, and D. Yep, perfect. What's one more thing that has to change? Abby, the indexes or indices, I don't know what they are. This is what are they? 0, 1, 2, 3. There's one more. This one's way trickier. This one takes a little bit of critical thinking. Robert.
LF.
Yes, elifs. Now, besides Robert, who can tell me why we need elifs instead of ifs? Let's go with Abby.
Because if it's true, it'll print all of them, not just the one you want. It'll stop if it says Ellen.
Yes, essentially yes. Jack?
Because if you want to go left, and if you press A and D at the same time, it'll do both. Instead of like A first or something like that.
It essentially actually,
That's pretty much right.
I think you could just do if statements with this. Hang on. If you
working.
Oh, never mind.
Why? Wait, just go off and like go straight.
Yeah. I think you could do that with all if statements. These down here need to be elifs. Hang on. We'll deal with that in a minute. So, those of you who have ran the code, this is what happens, right? You run.
It just kind of goes off the screen.
Your guy. No! He gone.
Oh, he'll never come back?
Yeah, no, it goes off infinitely. So, we have key down. We want him to stop when what happens?
It's the
Key
end.
up.
The end of the screen.
No. Well, you can code that. It's pretty easy actually. When the key goes up, we want him to stop, right? So, what we basically need to do is we need to copy all of this, paste it, oops,
Oh, what?
Where do we paste it?
right underneath it. And instead of key down, what do you think it should be?
Oh,
Key up?
Oh no, key left and key right.
What?
What are we going to do for key left and key right too?
No. This is just if the key is down or up. A key can't go left or right.
do we do false?
What?
Keys
Yes, it
zero
can.
equals false. It's not the key itself, it's like the up, down, left,
Yeah.
right.
Yup, and then you change the trues to false.
Does that make sense?
Now when you run it,
Just key up.
Key up.
Oh, it stopped.
I'm changing all the trues to false.
It stopped.
It works.
so now our character runs around.
Let's do it.
Save.
It won't close.
That's movement. All right. So now let's do.
Onward.
Oh, oops.
It can't move left.
Yes. My guy shoots.
Oh, it's not the fine. Oh, that dude.
No, I was like praying he would just start shooting.
What?
No. Okay. The next thing we want to do, is oopsies. We want to set the player rotation.
Oh no, socket no longer exists.
mouse.
What?
So it points towards the mouse.
So that it points to the mouse. Otherwise, he's always facing one way. And if for your game you want it to be that way, you just get rid of this next section. This next section, what I am going to do is I am going to copy and paste it because it has a lot of arctangent and math that I don't necessarily understand. I know what it does in general. You guys can just take the code that I'm using and paste it in. Because if any of these lines don't work perfectly, it just won't work. So what I am doing, I'm going to copy this, walk you through it, then save it, and then you guys can have access to it.
So we're saying don't type this right now.
I'm telling you, don't type anything. I'm walking you through what this does line by line. When I save it and show you how it works, then you guys have access to it. So right after, right before screen.blit player, these 5 lines. Right? This one, I'll even put the notes in for you. Gets the position of the mouse as x comma y
Wait, so we should type this? No. I'm just kidding.
No. So, yeah, I can't spell coordinates. That's why I'm not an English teacher. So let's say this is my game over here. This is my screen. This is my bunny. With his bow. This is my mouse. What this line is doing, so position gives me the XY of my mouse, right? I'm going to make sure this is in the video because it's important. Okay. XY. This is position. Does everyone get that? Mouse dot get position. Okay. The next line does angle, math, arctangent. I can't remember what arctangent does. But you guys see I have position 1. Is that my mouse or is that my player?
That's the Y value of the mouse.
That's the Y value of the mouse and my player position. So what it's doing is it's using arctangent to find, it's building a triangle. And the way this works, the way every image and the mouse, it's always the top left of the image. So my image, technically, my player position is right there in my image, whatever the top left is. So that's why you have the 32. It's moving it down a little bit so that it's rotating, or it's basically using the middle of the image to, that's the axis of rotation, essentially. So it moves, to his face. Now we're gonna do blue, just cause, and it's going to right there. So this is the new point, and what it's doing is it is making a triangle.
That is a good triangle.
That is
Oh, that was not bad. That was not bad. So, and then what it's doing is it's finding, I don't know which angle, but it's finding an angle. Okay, this blue one is not good. Ooh, that's much better.
Nice.
Right? So that's what angle is doing. It's finding whatever angle that is. Player rotation, player rot, is how much are we going to rotate the image? So it is pygame.transform.rotate, right? We're just taking the image and we're rotating it a little bit. Player is the image, and then we have 360 minus angle times 57.29. I believe that's radians. I think this right here is converting it into radians. Again, can't remember my arctangent or any of my geometry. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right, all it's doing is it's rotating the image. Player position 1, that is a little bit more complicated, but it's basically, as you rotate it, the image properties change, and if you don't have that line, you don't slightly alter the position, one of the things that'll happen is it won't be a smooth rotation. It'll like jump around a little bit, as opposed to a smooth little transition. And I'm not going to do the math for that. And then screen.blit. We have screen.blit player and player position and player row and player position 1. This is now the new image we are blitting, the rotated image. If you leave both of these, you actually get two funnies. Thank you.
So we're going to delete the one underneath?
Yep, we'll delete this one. Soren.
What does Blit do again?
Blit is basically we're gonna put the image here. Remember when I was talking about the like if the video game is a musical, how screen.fill is the black screen that comes down. Blitting is the movement of the things behind the scenes. And then update is the opening of the curtain, so you see it, and then immediately the black curtain comes down. So it's a frame by frame, and blit is putting things in place. Update lifts the curtain, screen.fill closes the curtain. So if you don't have blit, you won't see it ever. So everything you want seen needs to be blitted. So now when I run this, before, if you don't get rid of,
So sorry.
one thing I forgot to do is you also need to import math. And you can do it as a comma just like that, or a second import math, second line. Doesn't matter, it works both ways. So, you guys can see the difference between the two.
Whoa.
You're gonna delete one of those, right?
Yeah, I'm going to delete.
You're showing us that first.
That
Wait,
one.
they both move?
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, they'll both move.
Neither of them
I love
are.
his little
Oh, that's kind of sick.
Literally, I thought it was a turkey because it had a little tail. It's
Wait.
so weird.
What is that actually supposed to be?
It's supposed to be a small
It's a bunny.
His little tail back there. You can't see
Where's
him
the
far away.
face?
Scale up a little.
It's top down.
This.
Oh.
Yeah. And what are these things back here? Oh, the baby bunnies.
So it's cool that the top left of the like in
Why is only one of yours moving?
Because with this line of code here, I'm blitting the rotated image at the slightly different position. This one I'm blitting the old image at the position.
Okay, so we copy that down now or not yet?
Yeah, it's saved. You guys can copy it down.
So
Where is
right
this?
after you cast
In
it.
the resources tab.
I'm gonna add some
Oh, we're just going to see.
this that the translates whatever into radians, I think. Necessary.
Not seeing.
Oh, no, I see.
How many lines of code is this reading?
All right, so it's saved. Oh, I don't know, 200 maybe, 150, 200. So
Mine didn't do anything by the way. Should it?
I don't know. It should be uploaded. I mean, I saved it, so.
No, sorry. Sorry. It's,
like your
My
like you
game.
put it into your
like I can't rotate it after it.
So once you download this, highlight this and copy it into your code.
I did that and this was. Yes.
Define doesn't work.
Does it work with my bunny won't work?
Well, if your bunny's not moving around, that's probably something wrong down here.
Yeah, you're so right.
Wait, what's this
I was
called?
kind of just guessing.
Need that inside the for loop,
Would need what in the for loop?
the math section.
Yeah, yep, one indent in.
Okay.
Whoa, it's working. Whoa.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording.